हेलो एवरीबॉडी एंड वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल एंड आज हम ऐसे वीडियो के साथ वापस आए हैं जो दैट मेनी ऑफ द नाइपर एस्पायरेंट्स वांटेड टू हैव अ ग्लिम्स ऑफ सो हाउ टू क्रैक नाइपर एंड हॉट टॉपिक्स ऑफ नाइपर एग्जामिनेशंस सो जो नाइपर की एग्जाम ऑब्वियसली फ्यू ऑफ द फैकल्टीज भी डेफिनेटली कंट्रीब्यूट करते रहेंगे राइट और द साइंटिस्ट फॉर राइटिंग फॉर सेटिंग अप द क्वेश्चंस सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू नो अबाउट देयर डोमेन देयर एरिया ऑफ इंटरेस्ट and how will you come to know about it and what are the topics that are most frequently asked. We are going to discuss them in this particular video, right? So we'll be discussing them one by one. Firstly, this is a niper.gov. This is a website, and over here if you see faculty, so here there is the name of the faculty out here and the area of interest. You just have to write niper faculty. That's it. आप जैसे ही niper faculty type करोगे niper.gov faculty और niper mohali और नाइपर गुवाहाटी वट विच एवर नाइपर यू आर एमिंग फॉर राइट सो आपको इनका एरिया ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पता चलेगा लाइक ओवर हियर the Dulal sir's area of interest is eukaryotic, prokaryotic divisions, microtubule dynamics, mitosis, chemotherapy, right? So all those chemotherapy targeted drugs make up. Then spectroscopy techniques, NMR, mass, UV, IR, ESR, right? XRD. Then there is circular dichromism. So circular dichromism is very important because there have been questions on circular dichromism. So just see to it that you go through this particular type of spectroscopy circular dichromism technique, right? Then there's different Bharatam sirs, you can see over here medicinal chemistry, anti-malarial, anti-diabetics. So their classification, their pharmacophores, metformin as biguanide, all those things, right? Thiazolidine, diones, rosiglitazone, pioglitazone, all those things, like, and there's stereochemistry sometimes. So all those things are very important. So this is how you have to search for it. You have to go for faculty and find the area of interest. You will easily find it on any website. Okay, speaking about individual topics that I have actually extracted out, so from biostatistics, correlation and regression. So you need to know the difference between correlation and regression. First of all, what is positive, what is strong correlation, what is single regression, what is a multiple regression analysis, why do we do it, right? We have two different variables or factors that are affecting. One is a dependent variable, one is an independent variable, right? So all those things you have to find out. And there's a different techniques that are used in this particular topic, like r square value, correlation coefficient, right? So it should be around 0.99 or it should be greater than 0.995 to be honest, right? So that is important. R square value of 1 is significantly indicates that it's a perfectly positive correlation. Then sampling. So there are different methods of sampling: probability sampling, non-probability, random, non-random. Then there is stratified, quota, lot of different kinds of sampling. Then snowball, mini-max sampling and all. So you need to know only the rationale. Like, why do we do stratified? So there are different layers, strata. So that is stratified. Random lottery, any randomly you select a number and that particular. Then so like these kind of sampling, systematic sampling there is, right? So you have to know the difference between them. Distribution curves. So there is normal distribution curve, there's binomial distribution curve, PQ, P plus Q is equal to 1, right? Then there is Poisson's distribution law. So you have to know that when, suppose it's normal, so mean is equal to median is equal to mode, right? We all know about this. Then what is skewness, positive skewness, negative skewness, what is kurtosis? You need to know about these terminologies, it is very essential, right? So formula for these, they're like normal, binomial, may ncr, p raised to r, q raised to n minus r, all these formula you need to know about of these particular distribution curves, right? Then we have parametric and non-parametric tests. So first you need to know the difference where the population information is known, where it's not known, where do you take mean, where do you take median as a major central tendency term. So like non-parametric, maybe have Mann-Whitney U test, Kruskal-Wallis test, right? H test. In parametric, we have ANOVA test, we have T test, we have Z test. So when which test is done when the sample size is less than 30, which test is done when the sample size is greater than 30. You need to know about this terminologies very, very well. T may also, there is two types, paired and unpaired, right? Dependent and independent T test. So which test? So they will give you a situation. Okay, suppose if the blood glucose levels of two particular individuals is dash dash. So you have to know that which test you have to apply. Obviously the sample size is less than 30. And then you have to know that it is dependent or independent upon each other. Or they can tell you the fasting blood glucose sugar was this much and the postprandial blood glucose. So it is of same, right? It is of same individual. before and after. So it is a same, which test will you apply, all these things you have to know, right? They will give you case study base, they will not give you on definition and all. So you need to know the application basis. In hyper most of the questions come on application basis, so you need to have your fundamentals and basic very crisp and clear. Next up we have errors. So error maybe have type 1, type 2, that is alpha, beta, false positive, false negative. Where hypothesis testing you have to check, like, so there's null hypothesis and there is so here you can see hypothesis testing is also one of the part. There's null hypothesis and there's alternate hypothesis. So whichever we are assuming that it is a null hypothesis, that it is not equal, and if it's equal then it is an alternate hypothesis, right? So this is hypothesis testing is very important when we talk about biostatistics. Central tendency में there is mean, median, mode. Besides that, there is methods of dispersion. So there is absolute method of dispersion. There is relative method of dispersion. So standard deviation, variance, RP of range, right? So they are, you need to know the formula as well. Then if we talk about relative, we have coefficient of standard deviation, coefficient of range, coefficient of variance. So whenever we add the term coefficient, it becomes relative. So this is how you have to know everything. Then now we have factorial design. So there is 2 square factorial design, 2 cube factorial design, right? So in this we have DOE ke few terms, we have QbD ke few terms, like CCD, central composite design, BBD, box Benken design. Then there is star point, equivocal points. What are those points important for it? You need to know the different types of CCD, circumscribe, inscribe, right? All those things. So it's very important that you get familiarized with this particular terminologies. I just also spoke about few terminologies. So you need to know about PAT, QTPP, CQA, and CMA at CPP. So these are all terminologies related to QBD and design of experiments, process analytical technology, quality target product profile, critical quality attributes, critical material attributes, critical process parameters. So आपको इन सब के बारे में कुछ ना कुछ पता होना चाहिए, that when what are the PAT cycle, what is the risk management cycle, how do you product profile QDP and all, right? What difference between CQ and CMA? There is a very minor difference between CQ and CMA, so you should be very well versed with that difference. Next up, from biotechnology and from just random few topics, recombinant DNA technology. So recombinant DNA technology is very oftenly asked. So because it is a major area of interest of lot of faculties. So like vector design, primer design, what is the restriction endonuclease kit types. Then we have a lot of different techniques, RT-PCR, QT-PCR, quantitative PCR, and all those things. So you should be well versed with them, right? And there are different other Western blotting, ELISA, electrophoresis. You should be knowing. Yes, electrophoresis is also very important. SDS page, native page. Resveratrol, this is a drug that is very famous in NIPER. So you need to know about resveratrol. It's deal with NRF2. So NRF2 is basically opposite of NF kappa beta. Right? NF kappa beta suppose आपका gene expression and inflammatory mediators को it promotes. So NRF2 is an antagonist. It will help in protective or antioxidant effects. Right? Then we have ANDA, IND, NDA filing. So you need to know about different components of a dossier. You need to know about CTD, Common Technical Document, Electronic Common Technical Document. Then you need to know about RA and QA, like Quality of Affairs and Regulatory Affairs. Mein different terminologies, different Hatch-Waxman Act. Then we have Orange Book. So you need to know about all of those things very precisely when we right. Then from pharmacology, HAP and all, CNS system के सारे drugs like Alzheimer, Parkinson's, epilepsy, schizophrenia, CVS के सारे drugs, hyperlipidemia, angina, arrhythmia, um, coagulants, fibrinolytics. Diabetes may we have different diabetic, anti-diabetic, oral hypoglycemic and insulin analogs. Respiratory may we have asthma, COPD. Sometimes ulcers are also closely asked. Toxicological antagonist. So we have paracetamol antagonist, N-acetylcysteine, and a lot of organ of phosphate poisoning, naloxone for morphine. So you need to know the antagonist as well, antidotes as well. Then DNA, RNA, proteins, enzymes. So you need to know about everything about DNA, RNA. Basics काफी अच्छे से आने चाहिए. DNA transcription, translation, caping, splicing, tailing, PTM, post transcriptional modifications, all those things, है ना? Next up we have from pharmaceutics, tablets, solid state pharmaceutics, Protac linkers are very widely used. You can also know about CAR T cell therapy, ex vivo therapy, CAR T cell therapy, right? Immune therapy for cancer and all. Thermodynamics is very important. Then pre-formulation, so all those things in pre-formulation, polymorphism checking, powder characteristics, stereopolymorphism, salt formation, surface characterization, right, all surface area and all. Permeability studies, so you need to know about CACO2 cell permeability studies, France diffusion cell, right, all those things. Solubility enhancement techniques, so we have co-solvency, hydrotrophy, micronization, particle size reduction, co-solvent. There are a lot of different techniques for solubility enhancement. Complexation, so like cyclodextrin, alpha beta gamma cyclodextrins have been used, so you should be knowing about them. Then up we have mitosis, cancer, chemotherapy, antibacterial drugs. All these things are very important. Then antiplasmodial, so anti-leishmaniasis drug, anti-tuberculosis. Leishmania is a specific thing, extra thing जो आपको करनी है. Like we have sodium stilbogluconate, we have lot of drugs, pentamidine and all जो हम that is used in leishmania. So you should be aware about those drugs. HIV पे there are few works that's going on, malaria, HIV, TB, है ना, ये सब drugs, categories of drugs you should be knowing. And this is only of Mohali and few others Naipur के aspects से. You have to know about Guwahati's aspect as well, right? So Guwahati के faculties are working on watch, like Murthy sir and everybody. You need to have a look at their website once and check. Then from marketing we have different marketing strategies, different promotional techniques. You need to know the definition of product line, product mix, product line extension, marketing mix. What are the different components of marketing mix, है ना? All these things you should be knowing. Then BCG, Boston Consultancy Group analysis, Michael E. Porter's 5 competitive forces, bargaining power of buyer, bargaining power of suppliers, and all those things, right? So आपको वो भी पता होना चाहिए. Then there's product portfolio analysis. Then there is PLC, product life cycle. So like this, there's a life cycle of any product: introduction, growth phase, then stationary phase, like, or a constant phase, and then finally the decline phase of the company. STP, segmentation, targeting, positioning. You need to know the definition of what is segmentation. So segmentation is of 4 types: demographic, geographic, behavioral, psychographic. आप population के basis पे demographic, geographic location based, behavioral the characteristics or peculiarities, values, ethics, morals, principles, right? So all those things you need to know. Targeting, there is different types of like direct targeting, indirect targeting. Then so you need to know about positioning, product positioning, different techniques for positioning your product, like are you positioning it at a larger scale or smaller scale, and for what marketing intermediaries, marketing channels, wholesale, super stockists, distributors, stockists, and all, right? So this is from marketing point of view. So that's it for today's vlog. I hope that you all would have learned a lot about important topics of NIPER. Besides this, I would again emphasize कि गुवाहाटी के faculties के बारे में एक बार अच्छे से देखो, their area of interest. I've already shown you all how to search for it. So I hope that you all do well and see you all at NIPER. All the best.